Today, we are actually going to dive into one of the most powerful yet misunderstood aspect of a spiritual awakening, which is the Kundalini awakening in itself. So, the Kundalini can also be known as the serpent energy, the coiled energy, which is rising through you throughout your entire lifetime, or even multiple lifetimes for that matter of fact. But it is more than just a one time experience, which people often go after these days. It's more about a sacred intelligence that's actually rising through your entire being. And this is also to say that, once you go through this experience, your life will actually never be the same again. So, if you're new here, I'm Vesh, and this is a place where we talk about everything from spirituality, manifestation, any topics related to metaphysics, so that you can use these concepts in your life to make your life easy. So in Sanskrit, Kundalini actually means the coiled one. So she is basically the dormant energy that is lying in the base of your spine, in your root chakra, waiting to actually awaken and go upward. And what is Kundalini? She is just the dormant force, which is actually the creative and the powerful side of consciousness in itself, that is Shakti. There's also this book known as Shakti Rising, even in which they explain what Kundalini awakening is all about. So, your entire body is actually consisting of a lot of nadis which are intertwined with each other. And slowly over your lifetime, or even multiple lifetimes, this energy actually starts rising. But again, this is not something that happens to a lot of people because we also have free will. A lot of people are also stuck in the low vibrational frequencies like fear, doubt, victim mindset, complaining, resentment, anger. And as long as you have these kind of emotions, it's going to be hard for you to actually understand the true reality of nature in itself. And it's when your consciousness starts awakening every time you love, you forgive, you heal, you manifest, that is when this coiled energy actually starts rising into the top of your spine to actually merge into your brain. So, when the Kundalini actually begins to rise, these are actually touching and going through every chakra in your body. And this is not just me talking about partial Kundalini awakening, which is something practitioners do as a one time thing. But this is a lifelong journey that you basically go through if you are lucky and if you are meant to go through in this life, that is, to actually awaken all the chakras and awaken the dormant power lying inside you every single step of the way. So now let's talk about how does Kundalini awakening happen. This can happen through a major life event that happens. It could happen through a heartbreak, it could happen through any kind of accident, life crisis that happens in someone's life where they actually start going within and start working on themselves. Or it can even be like a gradual process which happens over a long period of time where the thoughts are eventually accumulating and building up on top of each other. So it can happen either way. It can actually be catalyzed very fast, or it can actually be a very slow process that is unraveling. And as Kundalini is rising, it actually awakens all your chakra, as I said. Now let's talk about what every single chakra represents. Your root chakra actually shows where you're living in fear, that sense of survival anxiety that is inside you. The sacral chakra, it actually shows the suppressed wounds that you have, any even shame related to intimacy and desire that you have. The solar plexus chakra is all about your self worth, the self esteem. This is where your life force and the power to actually lead forward in life with resilience comes from. The heart chakra is often associated with love. How deeply can you actually feel love without any wounds around it? Then it goes into the throat chakra. This is where you speak from. This is a portal of transmission for you to actually speak your truth. So, if you have any kind of habits like people pleasing, or if you cannot speak your truth and draw boundaries, this is usually a very big sign that your throat chakra is kind of blocked. And then it goes into your third eye chakra. This is where you start understanding the reality of illusion in itself, and you're able to completely differentiate between what is happening in front of you and what's the nature of reality. And then it goes into the crown chakra. This is where you actually attain enlightenment. So the crown is actually composed of a lotus which has 1,000 petals. Now, probably in one lifetime, maybe one petal might open up. Or if you go through rigorous spiritual practices, you can even open all. But I don't know what's the timeline that happens because we all have free will in this lifetime. As I say, you all have that fear, subconscious programmings, a lot of karmas that you've collected, even not just in this life, a lot of your past lives, which is something that you're burning in this life. You have to go through a process of firstly burning all your karmas, learning the key integral lessons, and every single time when you're healing, you are actually rising into the upper chakra slowly. So, if you think about it, firstly, you actually resolve the traumas, the fear of, life in itself in your root. Then you go raise forward into your sacral, then into your solar plexus, where you start building your self worth. Then you go into your heart, where you start feeling, a sensation of love in itself, a sensation of wholeness. Then you go into your throat, where you're not scared of anyone and you're not scared of living authentically. And then you go into your third eye and your crown. This is where you start living life in a detached manner, because you have kind of resolved all the survival patterns within you and you're kind of free in a lot of ways. This is also a place you can actually experience unconditional love for everyone. Now, in the book of Shakti Rising, it is said that Goddess Kali is someone who basically determines how fast you awaken depending on the order of events that's actually organized in your life. Now, this is not fixed because you have that free will to actually move between timelines and move into a better timeline if you choose to heal or even if you choose to manifest, for that matter of fact. But primarily, there is a basic karmic lifeline or a karmic blueprint which is arranged for you even before you are born for you to actually burn your karma. Now, you can not have any conscious intervention in your life and just go and blindly follow that path, or you can actively even co create your life in this whole process. Now, why Kundalini awakening is kind of controversial and it also has a very negative aspect to it. Because sometimes people can have a sudden awakening that they go through in their life. And when Kundalini is awakening in an unprepared system, in an unprepared body, where there is trauma still living, the ego hasn't dissolved in a lot of ways, the nervous system, the body is not energetically capable of handling that pure force and intelligence that actually breaks open. This is where people have a mental breakdown, or they can even go into a full blown psychosis because they don't know energetically how to contain this energy. This is why it's best when this awakening happens, when you are doing the spiritual practices, when you're meditating, when you have control over your mind, when you can actually contain your thoughts. That is when you are able to make the best use of this awakening, I would say. And this kind of power can actually not be controlled by institutions, even the matrix for that matter of fact, which is why our world is designed in such a way to keep you asleep the whole time. Because something that cannot be understood truly, the institutions actually kind of classifies that as something that is woo woo or dangerous for that matter of fact. Because in a psychological term, if you have Kundalini awakening, it could be that you can develop schizophrenia, you can have psychosis, you can have a mania breakdown, anything can happen. And this is also very scary to the person who is actually going through these experiences, because there's so much energetic download that is coming into the body, which the nervous system is not actually capable of handling. This is something that can easily be observed in people who have bipolar disorder, because the consciousness is rising so rapidly and so fast, and they cannot differentiate between what is real, what is not real. But when you have the actual proper Kundalini awakening happening, and when you're going through that, you can understand what is real, what is not real, because you are not just living in the sky, you are not just living in the ether. You are also grounded at the same time, you are living on the earth, but also you have an access to these energetic information that is coming your way, which the soul can actually download within itself. Now, next thing I want to talk about is how long does it take? It truly depends on the soul in itself, what the soul's blueprint is, what the soul's journey is, how much karma they have collected in the very past life. So, there is no one answer that fits all. Some people can go through such rigorous practice and surrender in this one lifetime and they can awaken it. Some people take multiple lifetimes of, spiritual practices to awaken it. So, it truly depends on, what that person is capable of doing and how much ego dissolution happens and how much surrender can they actually live in. And you cannot chase her. You cannot set that intention saying that, hey, I need to go through a Kundalini awakening in this life. No, that's not something you do. All you need to do is practice inner stillness and surrender to the entire life force in itself. And that is something, it will happen all by its own if you're meant to actually experience it in this lifetime. It requires a lot of inner mastery to actually ascend in this path in a controlled, contained manner without putting yourself in any kind of danger. And my take on it is it's such a beautiful experience because I have experienced certain aspects of it. For me, the biggest thing that actually I see all the time is how I have no fear at all right now. Even if I'm going through a pain at this point, I know it's just an illusion. I do feel the pain, I do process it, but I can see what happens on the other side of it too. And even when I work with clients, for instance, this is a power or an ability that I have to actually see past the pain that they're going through, see past the illusions that's built around them, which actually even their soul chose to go through in this lifetime. And another thing that often happens to me is I get a lot of snake visions and I get like dreams filled with snakes all the time. And recently I have started like developing a weird kind of love towards snakes. Now, I don't know if I'm going through this, but these are all like certain symptoms where you can actually experience it and even understand that, hey, you are going through a profound inner awakening in this time. And she is the one who actually makes you remember your true nature. She is the one who actually sheds all the illusion. And when it reaches the top crowns, you remember who you were all along without the conditioning that you came and you were born with on this earth. So it's not something you need to fear. It is something that will happen if it's meant to happen. You just need to be so in peace with yourself, living in the present moment. That is all you need to do. Because what is everyone doing these days? They're either living in the past or they're living in the future. They're never in the present moment. And being in the present moment is the only way with surrender that you can actually awaken this life force to move through you. So I hope this episode was helpful, and I'll see you guys in the next one.